everybody out there in Go RPG land. It's me, Benito Garcia, and I am extremely excited for the Know Your Nerd episode that we've got coming up right now. I have got William and Linda Newman on, and they are some of the most fun people that I've met. We haven't been friends for a long time. I came on your show, luckily.
Right.
Jenna drug me on, and we just kind of all became friends from there, and it's been great. It's really been a lot of fun. So let's get started on this. I think everybody's going to be interested in what you got going on. I love your attire too. I love that you. I'm into.
Thank you.
To get.
We thought it was appropriate nerd-like.
Well, and this show is all about embracing our nerddom, and we're all nerds on some sort of level.
Sure.
And I think everybody is. I think a lot of people may not want to admit it.
Right.
To admit it, but they are. And some of us just let it fly. Like, this is my entire basement. I don't mind.
That's fantastic.
And your basement is just amazing when I was over there. So, how long have you guys been married?
Well, let's see. We got married in 82, so...
Long time.
27 years? 27 years.
27?
Wait.
47. No.
37.
37.
It's a Sunday late in the day. It's not a day for math.
That's a
long time.
We're coming up on 40, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So were both of you guys nerds drawn together, or did you, when you met, did it kind of spawn from that then?
Well, we didn't. We met working for the same company, not the same company we're working at now, but a different company. And
we played backgammon. At
work. we worked in a call center at the time. Nerd. So I was in college and working there part time, I think, just to get till I got through school. And so I'd be working evenings. She was working evenings, and it was kind of slow in between calls. And so we were looking for something to do. So I brought in a backgammon board, and we started playing backgammon in between calls. And I knew right away when I kept, I'd be throwing the dice, and I'd like, what I need now is double sixes. Boom, double sixes.
Every time.
And it would get to the point where finally Linda would just flip the board, couldn't stand it anymore, and I wore the board. And I'm like,
numerous times.
Yeah, this seems like a match made in
This
heaven.
is a Spitfire.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Well then talk about then how it branched out then, because you guys have completely embraced.
Yeah. So
video cameras.
Yeah. What's that?
Video cameras.
Yeah, well, so we started hanging out. We realized that we both had a love for science fiction.
Right.
You, I think, got your start on Star Trek.
Yeah, the original series. Well, I used to watch that all the time.
And I did too, but I kind of started a little earlier with Lost in Space.
Wow.
And
it is earlier.
And then Star Trek was such an upgrade from that it was just great. And just kind of loved sci-fi ever since.
Mm-hmm.
And also had been into Dungeons and Dragons, as a kid in high school. And so my nerd cred goes way back, but we had a lot of that in common.
A little bit rubbed off, I think.
Yeah, and so I've just kind of drug her along, and it was a pretty easy drag because she was pretty much into it anyway. So
right, so you're an OG.
Yes, right.
I guess they call it.
Yeah, I go way back.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So, and then Linda, you said you were Star Trek.
Star Trek, the original series.
That?
Oh yeah. The original series. It was so amazing because it was unlike anything that had come before it. It was my dad used to like the shoot 'em ups, the cowboy, and this was kind of like cowboys in space, and so he actually liked it too, surprisingly enough. So we really we always had to plant ourselves in front of the television and watch that. So
yeah. So I grew up on reruns of both. You said Lost in Space and Star Trek, and
sure.
So I was young enough that I grew up on those. And then Star Wars came along and just completely obviously changed my life. I keep looking over here instead of here. Completely changed my life because it wasn't rerun stuff anymore. Then it was something that was mine.
20s, I guess, when Star Wars.
Yeah.
came out.
Yeah. Yeah, it came out in 76, I think.
Oh, not quite 20 yet then. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, I remember seeing it at the Indian Hills Theater near 90th and Dodge. And it was on that big 70 millimeter screen.
Wow.
And I remember going there for some movies before and seeing the posters for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, God, that looks interesting. We'll have to be sure to come back for that.
Yeah.
And God, I remember getting there and the line for it already kind of stretched out the door and quite a ways around. And that was like the opening weekend,
Yeah.
And oh my God, we were just blown away. And I think I probably saw it close to 20 times within the next month.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And, I think I saw it at least 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember it was the best thing we could do at the time afterwards is me and my group of friends, because I didn't know Linda at the time, obviously. We would get done seeing the movie and we would have to go to one of those video arcade parlors because they'd have like the little asteroids games or the little shoot alien things. That was the closest we could come to being in Star Wars at the time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so we'd immediately go do that because we'd have to get out our frustrations or our excitement or whatever it was at seeing that show. So
okay, so then you guys get married, and then how did it go from there then?
When I mentioned earlier a video camera, as soon as video cameras came out, he had to have one. And even though it was like the size of a movie studio,
it was
a huge.
Yeah. It was about this big.
And then you had to have a backpack on for the
Did it sit on your shoulder and you had to take the VCR?
Yeah, and so I had a backpack with a VCR in it, right?
And one of the first things we videoed with a couple of our friends was an episode of the Newkinsons.
Yeah, it's a series. We called it the Newkinsons. And so I had like this full latex Halloween mask of this guy that looked like kind of like a zombie, right?
Yeah.
And so it was this family, and we would just use the same mask, no matter whether it was the father, the mother, or the son. And we had this other couple that we hung with, and she had her brother was about 10 at the time because we were in our 20s, and he was about 12 probably. And so we'd have him play the little kid, and we would just film these little vignettes,
snippets.
Yes.
Don't go out and play with your food or something. Remember, she had an apron on, the mother, and she had the mask, and then she was waving a spoon.
Oh no!
Don't go out and play with your food. He was going to go out and get roadkill or something.
Yeah, he was going out.
So there, science fiction. All
wow. Did you guys have to edit in camera so you'd hit pause?
Yes.
And switch the mask and then
yes.
Yeah.
So you had to really have your storyline exact because there was no editing later.
Yeah, it was tough to do.
Okay, so then when did you start to be able to decorate the house or the basement or did that start too?
We actually started our decoration stuff with Halloween. So we got big into Halloween, and I think it started when we moved back to Omaha, and we ended up getting this house, which was in 94, I think. Yep, and so that first year, Halloween was coming, and so we were at the store, and we were buying Halloween candy. And I wanted to buy I wanted to buy extra Halloween candy for myself.
Okay.
So I'm loading up the cart, and she goes, "Bill, it's a new neighborhood. We don't have that many kids. We don't need all that candy." And I said, "Well, I want some for myself." And she goes, "Well, you can keep whatever we don't hand out to the kids. We're just getting enough for what we expect the kids to be."
Okay.
I'm like, okay. So then I get home and I figure, well, let's see. If I make the house really horrifying and scare away a lot of kids, they won't be coming up to the door to get candy. That'll leave more candy for me.
Boy, did that backfire.
So we started decorating, and I would go out, and we'd go out the day after Halloween to like Spencer's and Mangelson's and all these places for the big sales.
Yeah.
and I would buy the most horrific props I could find. And then next season we would put them out. And so we gradually built the place up so that we actually had these full-size 6-foot toe pincher coffins that there was a carpenter friend of mine. I had him build them for me. And we actually stored them. We stored them up in a spare bedroom because we had nowhere else to keep them.
Right.
And which was really kind of a embarrassing situation when we went through a refinance of the house one time and they came by to do an inspection.
Oh, no.
And the lady goes and sees the coffins in the bedroom. She's like looking at Linda like, what the hell's going on here? But anyway, we would put the coffins out in the yard. We'd have a full graveyard cemetery out there. We'd have
friends come by.
We'd have monsters up in the windows. We actually had
what's her name?
Channel 6, I think it was, came and did a story on our house.
I can't remember her name.
And
that's awesome.
so it was on an evening segment of the news one year.
She was in our second floor window talking.
And we'd have friends come over and dress up in costume, and they'd be roaming up and down the block. So it got to the point where we were going to the store and we were getting almost a grocery cart full of candy because people would be coming up. We had people coming up with those little quad runner things, pulling a flatbed full of kids.
Oh no!
That they collected from the neighborhood, and there would be a line down my porch, down the driveway, out along the sidewalk to get up there, and so it kind of backfired.
That's great.
So it would take us a month to get the decorations up, and then we always had this deal, this rule that Halloween night at 10 o'clock, we'd shut everything down. And we would completely tear everything down and make the house look completely normal. From the outside. Now, the inside, of course, we'd have everything just stashed everywhere until we could put it away. But when people would come by the house, it would be completely normal. And that just always freaked people out in the neighborhood. They're like, how do you do that? It's like it never even happened. And we actually had one lady come by one year, and she said something had happened where she wasn't able to bring her kids by to see it. And she wanted to know if we'd put everything back out just so they could see it. And I'm like,
what? No.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, it was quite the thing. In fact, in the summer, we'd be out working in the yard and we would have neighbors, walking, they'd be taking their dogs to the park or something like that. And they'd stop and they'd say, hey, we just had to tell you, we really love your Halloween decorations. And we actually use your house as a threat to keep our kids in line. And I'm like, what? Yeah. We tell them if they don't behave, we're taking them to the haunted house.
That's great.
How we got started into doing the decorating stuff. It all started with Halloween. So
I gotcha. Yeah. So both of you guys, each one of you, what's your favorite piece of memorabilia or decor that you have in your house right now?
The batleth.
Yeah.
The batleth is pretty cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah. I kind of like the police call box. And I like the Horgon.
Oh, the Horgon.
You probably don't know what that is.
I don't know. That
was from an episode of Star Trek. That's it.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Grab it. I'll bring it over so they can see it better in the monitor.
Has it got bad juju if you touch it, though?
No.
Is that part of the episode? the Brady Bunch if you...
Yeah, no. This thing, so there's a planet called Risa.
Okay.
That is like a vacation resort. It's actually a pleasure planet. So the captain of the ship has been on a very stressful month-long mission. And so everybody convinces him he needs to go on vacation on this planet Risa.
Okay.
And the first officer, Riker, tells him, hey, while you're there, could you do me a favor and pick me up a Horgon? And he goes, what is it? And he goes, just ask around. They're everywhere. just will you bring me back one? And he said, yeah, sure, fine.
Okay.
Well, he doesn't realize that having one of these and displaying it indicates that you're seeking Jamaharon, which is a type of sexual activity.
Okay.
And so he has it sitting there, and he can't figure out why he's out at the pool suntanning, and all these women keep coming up to him and trying to talk to him, and he's just trying to read a book, and he doesn't understand it until finally a woman tells him what it is, and then he takes it and covers it with a towel because he's like... So it was a hilarious episode.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Where did you get it from?
We got it in Las Vegas at a Star Trek convention in 2019.
I gotcha.
Yeah, they have this big Star Trek con every year, and so actually 2019, 2019 was the first year we went to that. So
Resic and Flute is another.
That's from another Star Trek episode.
Favorites.
Yeah, that's one of our favorite episodes from one of our favorite episodes.
Okay, yeah. So you guys lean more towards Star Trek than Star Wars, or
well, yeah.
Up until this last year.
Well, I would say that Star Trek is probably my favorite science fiction series.
Okay.
It probably because it was my first, I think, serious series, and there's just so much to it that's gone on for so many years, and
well, and I like it because there's usually a message.
Yeah, it's kind of an upbeat, optimistic vision of the future.
Right.
And but that said, we also really love Star Wars. I mean, we both have Jedi costumes and Sith costumes. We're both members of the Rebel Legion Star Wars costuming group, and we just recently got approved for the Dark Empire, which is a dark side costuming group.
Got approved.
So we're in that as Sith as well. So we love both franchises, I would say, almost equally, but Star Trek just has a special place in my heart. So.
I got you. All right. So here's the third question. Okay. So are you guys into superhero movies at all, the Marvel universe?
We've watched them. We're not big superhero fans.
I guess if you didn't really read comics, like you said,
yeah,
kind of understand that.
Okay. But that said, we've seen all the Batman movies and Superman movies. And,
we just watched the Joker last night. The
new
one.
Joker, the new movie.
That's good.
Yeah, that was pretty intense.
That's really good.
Yeah, but yeah, we've seen all of the Marvel series up through the end. So so we're caught up on it.
Well, here's my third question, my third and final question. And it doesn't matter if you've seen the Marvel movies or not, just curious. But each one of you guys, if you could have a superpower, what would it be? And why? It can't just be, I just want to fly. I got to hear we want to know the nitty gritty of why.
Yeah.
Well, why? But fly. Why do you have to have a nitty gritty to fly? That would just be the coolest thing in the world. You could get away. It's quieter up there. You could get away from everything. Okay,
well then let's say it this way then. Let's say it this way. So whatever your superpower is, would you use it for good or evil? Let's put it that way. If you don't want to break it down into nitty gritty.
Right.
Well, I think you'd have to use it for good. Well, I mean, I'd use it for myself. I don't even know that it would be good or evil. It has to be good or evil.
You just use it to get quickly from point to point, or would you use it to?
I'd just use it to get away. Especially when you're in the crazy world we're in right now with all the junk going on.
So if somebody not wearing a coronavirus mask approached you, you just zoop.
There you go. There you go.
Okay.
That's funny. It's funny you said get away because it was just the weather's been terrible here.
Yeah.
We're in Omaha, Nebraska. And weather's been terrible. And just a couple days ago, I was driving home from work and it was overcast. And the same thing, I thought, God, if I could just fly, I would bust through this gray cloud.
There you go.
Just hang out up in the blue sky and let the warm shine on, just to get
away. Sun.
Just get away.
Yeah.
All right. So, but you're going to use it for good.
I would hope so.
I love it. All right, Bill, what's yours?
Okay. So mine would be, I don't know if you saw that show Heroes.
Yeah. Loved Heroes. Okay.
Yeah, save the cheerleader, save the world kind of thing.
Yep.
I can't think of the character's name, but he had the ability to teleport anywhere in space and time.
Was that Hero?
Yeah, Heroes. That was.
Hero. That was his name.
That was his name.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Yep.
I thought you were asking, was that the series Heroes?
No, his name.
I gotcha. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so that would be mine, and
I like it.
I would use it for good. Right. But here's the thing.
How does that work?
But here's the thing. My good may not translate to somebody else's versions of good.
That's right.
For example, right? Because we all have, different things. So like for somebody looking at Robin Hood, which is a guy taken from the rich and giving to the poor,
Right.
he's going to be a bad guy to the rich people and a hero to the poor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to think that I would try to do it to maximize good for the most number of people.
Well, then let's have an example. What would you do with it?
If I had that ability right today,
right, and for good.
For good.
Give us an example of something good where you could time travel or manipulate time to do something.
Oh man, I don't know. I might have to think about that. Just think of all the repercussions. You wouldn't want to jump necessarily back in time and change something that would eradicate your existence.
That's true. You're talking about a butterfly effect.
Yes.
Depends on what you do with it.
Right. Because if you jump back and change something where you no longer had the power, and then you come back, then you've lost the power, or maybe you don't exist. Maybe you've wiped out your own existence. So you have to be really careful. But I think I would like to teleport into Area 51 and figure out what's going on there. If anything, I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
Because driving there wasn't good enough.
Yeah. I'd like to teleport into a couple of Donald Trump's press conferences and just put a couple of, the horns behind his head as he's talking and then pop out, I don't know, something like that. But,
there's that show on Netflix, the guy that worked at Area 51. Did you watch that?
Bob Lazar?
Is that his name?
Yes. Yeah.
That was really good. With the machine where you put your hand on it and somebody had found a picture of it and showed it to him. And I really enjoyed that. I thought that was good.
Yeah. Yeah. That was fun to watch.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not huge into conspiracy theories or alien stuff, although I believe in aliens, but
yeah,
if I wasn't a true believer, or just on the fence, I think watching that would have
brought you over
right on over to the the technology.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really.
Yeah, I don't know. I think as far as the idea of aliens go, I don't believe that there's aliens from another part of our universe coming here just because of the vast distances involved. And there's so much out there. Why come here?
I agree.
But that said, science says that it's very possible that we're living in a multiverse, a universe of universes, right? And maybe in some universes, they have invented or figured out a way to travel between universes. And so maybe we're being visited by aliens from another Earth in another parallel universe.
I see.
That might be possible.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I think that might be more likely than.
I just said that makes sense. That makes no sense.
I know.
Whatsoever.
I mean, for me, it makes more sense that might be possible than aliens from millions of light years away just coming to Earth to see what we're doing.
I agree. Like, why would they even care?
Right.
Think about the vastness of this little dot.
Yeah. I mean, if we invented some way to teleport between universes here, we would go teleport to other Earths to see what they had. And so I think that would be a more likely explanation for aliens if there's
I like that
to it.
I like that. That could get into a whole conversation when you think about.
Oh yeah, sure.
When you think about, well, we want to go explore the universe and go see what's out there.
Right.
We're not doing it just on Earth and traveling between different dimensions.
Different universes.
Yeah.
Parallel.
We're out there looking. Maybe they're out there looking, or maybe they got off course, or maybe
true.
Wormholes and they crashed here on accident going somewhere else. Like, there's so many different possibilities. I love it.
There are a lot of possibilities. That's true.
Yeah, I love the idea of the whole thing.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, you guys, thank you very much for coming on Know Your Nerd. That was a lot of fun.
You're welcome. Yeah, we had a great time. Thank you for inviting us.
You can talk about Driftwood real quick.
Yep. So Galactic Driftwood, we put out an episode every 2 weeks. So you can check us out. Our website is galacticdriftwood.space. We just recently were fortunate enough to have a couple of the guys from Comic Book Men, the AMC series, on our show. Ming Chen and Mike Zapsik were on the show. That one's recently out there. Our next one's going to be kind of a recap of Westworld. So tune in to check that out.
Oh, I love it. But I can't watch it. I'm only on I just started season 2, episode 1.
Oh, wow.
my God.
Okay, well, you're getting there. You're making progress.
Yep.
Better not watch the Driftwood episode.
No, I wouldn't watch that yet because there'll be a lot of spoilage there. And then this coming Sunday, a week from today, actually, we're going to be having a UNL professor, Dan Kays. He's a professor of physics and astronomy at UNL, and he's going to be on the show talking about the physics of comic books, comic book physics, and also time travel. So in comics.
So I saw that in our group message about that. I didn't know the comic book end of it. That sounds
yeah. So he does that quite a bit, where he talks about physics in the comics and how that works. And we were having a little discussion last night. John and Seth and I, we do a Saturday night Galactic Driftwood sci-fi quarantine social kind of a thing on Zoom, and we were talking about that very thing. And John had mentioned there was one episode where Batman and Superman are going against each other. I think it was a comic or something, and Batman drove his car into Superman, and Superman just stood there, didn't even move. The car hit him and bounced off. And it's like, how would that even be possible? How dense of material would Superman have to be made of not to be budged by a speeding automobile flying into him?
right.
So I think that's the kind of things that are going to be discussed next Sunday.
Cool.
So
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, so it should be interesting. So,
Yeah. Well, okay. Maybe I'll get in on that.
yeah, we'd love to have you because
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that
That'd be
sounds
great.
really cool. Okay. All righty. Yeah. So that's Driftwood. Anything else
Yep.
with Driftwood? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's okay. Linda, anything you can think of?
With Driftwood?
No.
All right.
All right.
That
Driftwood's
covers it.
amazing, and you can see it on Synergy Nation Network as well as you guys are on YouTube and
Yep.
Facebook,
Stitcher,
pages.
iTunes,
You name
podcast.com,
it, we're on it.
Spotify. We're everywhere you want to be.
All right, cool. And then of course, Go RPGs. We Monly. Listen to me.
Monly.
Let me. I'll edit that out.
That seems appropriate considering
Monly.
it's Dungeons and Dragons type stuff. We Monly.
All right. And then there's Go RPGs, and we are mostly on Facebook. We have an Instagram page where we just post some fun pictures and things like that. But the group and the page on Facebook are a lot of fun. People get on there and post funny pictures and memes, and there's just all kinds of fun stuff on there, and everybody keeps it lighthearted. So you can find us there. Again, I'll put links on everything. I'll put it in the description. And again, Bill and Linda, thank you guys so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
for
much
having us.
Thank you for inviting me onto your show, and then
You're welcome.
it's just all grown from there, and it's been amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's
wonderful.
amazing the connections we've made through this whole podcasting world. So
Yeah, it's cool.
it's awesome.
I always think I want to do a podcast, but then I see like you doing yours and Mikey doing his, and you guys got it down. Like you don't need me in there trying to figure out how to do it. So I'll just keep doing these things.
This is wonderful.
Yeah, this is awesome.
All right. Well, thanks everybody from Go RPGs. Everybody stay safe and just have a great time. Try to enjoy life and keep your nerd flag flying. Okay, cool. Thanks a lot, you guys. That was a lot of fun.
It was fun.